Okay, so I decided to make the topic one that I think everyone is interested in. Happiness. I just want to be happy. So, what I'm going to do is teach you the basics about control systems, and so that you could use this knowledge to be able to control what you can control. So, the way a control system works is we have our input. And this is when we input our desired outcome. And this input will then go to a controller. So, for example, on your air conditioning, you're going to put into your thermostat what temperature you want. And then you have the plant, which in that same example would be the temperature of the room, the actual thing that you're trying to move, control. And then we have our output. And now we have the most important part, in my opinion. I mean, not the most important, all three are important, but this is one that essentially really does the main work of getting that desired output, is we have our feedback loop. And the feedback goes all the way to our desired input, and essentially it will compare. Is the output the same as our desired input? So what does that mean for us as humans? So we have our input. I want to be happy. Hold on, let me change colors. I want to be happy. Let me stay consistent. Okay. And now we have our controller, which for us is the mind. Ooh, the mind. And then we have the plant, which is our physical flesh body, even our vital body, our emotional body, our spiritual body. Okay, and then we have our output. Are we happy or are we sad? And so that, here we go, our spirit is our feedback. And I want to talk a little bit about this, where is your spirit happy? That's what's really being compared. So I want to talk about each of these things and the control we do and don't have. So I'm going to start with spirit because I think that's the one that's most elusive. And so our spirit, another way of looking at it, is our senses. Some people say we have 5 senses, touch, smell, taste, hearing, and what's our 5th sense? Sight. Okay, so these are the things that we, sense with. But then there's also, what we call sensitivity. And the opposite of sensitivity would be numbness. Okay, so that's what we don't want. We don't want to become numb. That's when we're, constantly disassociating. That is the opposite of being present. So when we talk about sensitivity, that is kind of like how well are these senses, or even other things like what we call our 6th sense, or other things like our chakras, okay, our energy bodies, how much information is really getting processed in the feedback here. And these are all coming from within you. This is also connected to your intuition that tells you something is right for you or something is not right for you. And so this is very much so you. But also what can sort of disrupt the spirit is your relationships. And that means your relationships to others and yourself. So obviously yourself first, but your relationships can absolutely affect your spirit. And so I want to talk about mind and body because we always talk about mind, body, spirit. This is like the big yogi connection, which is, part of like a trifecta of Ayurveda, yoga, tantra. Okay. So the mind is we have a lot of control about what we put in our mind. These are the shows we watch. These are the things we read. These are the people we listen to. This is, our inner voice and our inner talk, the way we talk to ourselves. And then we have the body, which is obviously like food, exercise, things like that. So we have a lot of control over our mind and our body, but the part that we can't control are, what our relationships bring into our mind, what our relationships bring into our body. So I would say body is also sex. And they always say, for women, it's in the mind. Okay, because my big thing is my mind. They are not separated because the mind is all over the body. It's not just the brain. So I would say the mind is the entire nervous system. So, both of these, sex could be part of the mind, body, and spirit because we're inviting someone into our mind, our body, and our spiritual being, our essence, our energy. So, controlling what you can is important, but also recognizing it's going to be real happy. It's going to be real hard to be happy when you allow sort of unhealthy, toxic relationships. Because at the end of the day, your spirit not going to sit right with that. And you're not going to be happy. You're going to be sad. And this is when you see what I call flip-flopping, where one day one person is, all about, oh, I'm full of gratitude. But truthfully, you're not full of gratitude. You're just trying to trick yourself. And so this is the trick, is when you're feeling sad, but you want to be happy, but you're not willing to change the things that are, not yours. So like your emotions versus are you carrying other people's emotions? Ooh. So it's just something to consider, something to think about, that this is just how control systems work. This is not my opinion. This is not like what, something I'm making up. This is like the basis of control systems. So in order to control your control system, which is your mind, body, and spirit, you have to be in the realization that your relationships will affect all three of these. So making sure that you have the tools, the power, the self-love to do the work. And I want to talk about work. Damn. So what is work? What is work? Work is displacement by force. So what is displacement? You got to move something by force. What is force? Mass times acceleration. That's you. And that's you doing something. So when you say you got to do the work, you have to displace something by force, choosing to displace. What to displace? Misogyny, white supremacy, the cop in your head, colonial constructs, patriarchal constructs, and your I'm going to say capitalism, but really it's your relationship to money, which can get complicated, especially for those actually living in poverty. But there's a lot of us that are not living in poverty. People in America are part of the top 30% when it comes to income. So it's more about realizing that you are more than a production machine, because that is what, the capitalistic paradigm in the patriarchal colonial constructs that we live in now currently, that's what it kind of lends itself to, is to say you ain't shit unless you producing for us, and that's just a fucking lie. So I hope that this helps, and I hope that you can find happiness. And the reason I want you to find happiness is because happy people change the world. Happy people move in right relation. Happy people heal. We have enough destruction. We need to heal. So this is, my contribution. Have a great day. Mwah.